Fox News host gets death threats over Trump comments. If the last year has made anything clear, it's that political tensions are at a new high. After Donald Trump's rise to the White House, liberal hysteria went into overdrive. Violent protests broke out across the country, resulting in millions of dollars in property damage. As those riots continued, bloodshed became more commonplace, and people lost their lives. Tensions culminated over the weekend when far-right and left-wing protesters clashed in Charlottesville. After the resulting injuries and deaths, renewed media attention was paid to the growing problem. Suddenly, people started to realize the heightened political tension was becoming major. Sadly, the media attempted to blame the tragedy on President Trump, never passing up an opportunity for a new narrative. Cable news pundits called on the president to denounce right-wing extremist groups, despite the fact that Trump had already done so many times before. Nothing he says is ever good enough for liberals in the media. Fox News host Bonnie Williams was just one of the pundits berating Trump on air. However, the reactions she received in response were a stunning reminder of just how low we have fallen. Bonnie K. Williams had never received anything like the responses she garnered after she aired her grievances with President Trump while on air on the Fox News Specialists. The co-host addressed Trump on Monday in her Bonnie's Docket segment, which she writes herself, berating him for failing to specify white nationalist groups in his condemnation of the violence that occurred at Charlottesville, Virginia, over the weekend. She told Variety in an interview on Wednesday that her personal website, which usually receives an average of 10 to 15 emails after each segment, was inundated with over 150 emails, only 3 of which were anything other than scathing takedowns. "I should meet my maker soon. I shouldn't be allowed to walk the streets of New York," she cited as some examples of the type of comments she received. "They heard that I live in Harlem. Harlem needs to watch out." Her book publisher became so concerned that he asked her to request additional security from Fox News, which she did. Williams is now escorted to and from the building when she arrives to work. Her book, Pretty Powerful: Appearance, Substance, and Success, is available next month. Williams explained that the typical responses she gets from Fox News viewers, while sometimes disagreeing with her views, often praise her ability to formulate her arguments and present them on air, which is what makes this week's digression so shocking for her. While the narrative that Trump is to blame is no doubt irrational, the response to words should never be threats of violence. After Trump's victory, conservatives rightfully pointed out that the left had become violent and dangerous. However, by responding to bad arguments with threats of violence ourselves, we threaten our ability to keep the moral high ground. In a time of tension, conservatives need to stand above the fray. Choose reason over violence, and you will inevitably win the argument. Let's not risk becoming part of the problem.